I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes or no? Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
I had no prior knowledge of the planned assault on Nancy Kerrigan.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior I engaged in.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Oops Podcast. I'm Francis, and he's Giulio. Giulio, how are you today?
Good to be back, baby.
Yes.
I feel nice and rejuvenated from a weekend of holidaying in an unprecedented fashion.
Well, that makes one of us. I went on a bender.
You did?
Sure did.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah, a little 4-day action-packed, brain-decomposing journey.
Were you watching that fight?
The Jake Paul thing?
The charity fight? Yeah.
No, I didn't watch it. I watched the after the fact only because everyone said it was so crazy. And I'll tell you, man, that Jake Paul guy, he's no joke.
I know. He really landed a solid right on poor Nate, nasty Nate.
He and Logan are both clearly athletes.
Right.
They're in really good shape. I think they were gymnasts or wrestlers or something.
Nate Robinson played college football. For those of you who don't know, we're talking about Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. fought each other in sort of a charity event. And the undercard, I'm sure everybody's seen it on the internet at this point, Jake Paul, who's the brother of Logan Paul, was fighting Nate Robinson, who's a former NBA player and incredible athlete. I mean, he's the only guy to ever win the slam dunk competition 3 times, and he's 5'9". Yeah. So everyone was like, oh, he's a good athlete. He's going to knock him out. He's a good athlete. I was hearing that all day.
Yeah, but Nate Robinson's also like 38, maybe 40, and Jake Paul's like 23.
Mm-hmm. But Nate Robinson looked ripped, dude. He looked great.
He did, but dude, he's got a whole NBA career on his knees. Right?
And also, he just looked like he didn't know how to fucking box.
Jake Paul and Logan Paul have been training as boxers. They've kind of moved in that direction.
Right.
And they clearly do that all the time. These guys are huge YouTube stars. Logan got in trouble a couple of years ago, you may remember, for taking a selfie or something in the
suicide forest
in Japan where people go to kill themselves, and everyone said, oh my God, how insensitive. And I, for one, didn't really understand what all the fuss was about. But that's also why I got fired. So clearly Logan Paul and I don't get it when it comes to death.
Logan Paul and I don't get it. That's right.
Yeah, we don't get it.
You like hit him up. You're like, hey, dude, we don't get it.
Well, it's not like he was going through the forest and like touching the bodies and being like, this is funny.
Totally.
He was like, guys, this is pretty heavy. This is crazy. And he's a guy who travels for YouTube, and that's a very unusual thing to see. Why would he know not to? I don't know.
Whatever. Yeah.
Like,
dude, 100%.
I don't know why he would. Why would we expect him to turn it off there?
Right.
You know. So anyway, sorry, go ahead. You go ahead.
I was gonna say, you had mentioned to me this weekend that you were excited to tell me about something.
Yeah, I have a lot of stories to tell you,
and I've been thinking about it. I've been like psyched. I was gonna follow up, then I was like, save it for the pod.
Yeah, if you're coming into Oops to the Podcast, this is your first episode that you're listening to, prepare yourself because we have a lot to unpack. I also know that Giulio just did our good friend Girls Gotta Eat, and maybe you're coming over from that. They are our friends.
Oh, yeah, totally. We love those two girls.
That episode drops today, right?
Yeah, yesterday.
Monday,
yesterday. Yeah. But yeah, it's a doozy.
Yeah, so hopefully you heard that and enjoyed Giulio, and now you're here for us. And I'll tell you something. I do love those girls, Ashley and Raina. I like those girls a lot.
They're lovely. They really are lovely. Yeah. They're lovely ladies. I had a really good time doing that. And they're very hands-on, and they have great POVs, and they're just good at podcasting, man.
Yeah, they didn't have their hands on me, and we didn't do any POV stuff. So I don't know what kind of treatment you got.
You son of a bitch.
I don't know why I didn't qualify for the POV hands-on package. I don't have to talk to them about that. Anyway, here's the deal. We are moving. My girlfriend and I are moving, right? Mm-hmm. We know this. We are in the throes of moving, and we found our apartment. we're not celebrating yet because we're waiting for board approval from the fucking whoever this meeting of. In the building we're hoping to move to, I just pictured that there are like 7 or 8 elderly people
Who like live there
who
already?
gather on a once a month basis and have tea and shortbread cookies, and then they look through like headshots of
Right.
people coming in and be like, do we like this young man? Oh, he looks like he's gonna be noisy. And they pass or whatever. So we're hoping for approval. We think we'll get it.
Good luck.
And if we do, that's where we're going, to Dumbo, down under the Manhattan Bridge overpass.
Dumbo.
The Dumbo neighborhood of Brooklyn. I was hesitant to move back to Brooklyn, but the deal we got was so much better than anything that we couldn't ignore it.
Yeah, congrats, man.
So we're hoping to move over there. You know who used to live in Dumbo who made it cool for me was Mac Miller. I know
Really?
you're a big Mac Miller guy.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Kevin. A lot of the Nets players live in Dumbo too.
That's right.
I believe
That's right.
that.
And I told you guys on a previous episode that a Nets player was looking at the apartment that we ended up renting, and we were worried that he was going to get it because NBA players just pay the listing price with cash.
Mhm.
They don't even try to barter it down. And
Dude, oh, sorry. Go
the
ahead.
owner, though, we think, was not excited about the idea of having a
Young NBA star.
rowdy, cash-heavy NBA player who was likely to entertain.
Right. Who's
Entertain
likely
guests.
to entertain guests. That's fucking great.
Whereas now we plan to burn the place down way more than any Nets guard.
D'Angelo Russell was like all in my girlfriend's DMs.
Come on.
Not current girlfriend, previous girlfriend. And dude, I think she like asked for it. Like she would act like she didn't, but there's no way. I guarantee you, she initiated that. She was sketchy like that.
Wow.
And she just like she had that thing about her where she like needed to flirt in every situation.
Damn.
And like I bet you they banged 100%.
Really?
Yeah, I would put my money on that. She banged
Shoot.
Quavo, I bet. And
Jesus
you
Christ.
guys remember that story from early in the pod?
Quavo.
Quavo. And D'Angelo Russell. And you know what's funny? I know that I'm over it because I no longer have anything against Quavo or D'Angelo Russell. That's how you know you've moved on from
But
a
you
girl.
know who you do have something against?
Who?
The girl.
I don't like her. Yeah. I
There
mean,
you go.
actually, we were going to be friends, and then she like fucked that up. But also from an old episode, but whatever.
If you're watching this episode on our YouTube channel, which you should subscribe to, I just want to do a quick disclaimer. The reason that I have discolored and yellowish hands is not because I'm currently suffering from jaundice. Rather, I was picking the stamen off of the lilies in our flower arrangement upstairs. Do you know what the stamen
No,
are?
I was just about to ask.
Do you know on those little brown sort of chalky buds at the
Like
end of a
inside
lily?
the flower?
Yeah, when it opens up,
Oh, and the stuff that
those
comes
things
out
that you pick
Yeah.
off, and if you don't pick them off, they often fall down and totally stain your couch or whatever.
Interesting.
But every time I do it, I stain my hands. Do you see how yellow my hands are?
Your hands do look
like I
yellow
have
indeed.
jaundice.
Yeah,
No.
jaundiced out, bro.
Piss doesn't do that, Chris. Piss cleans the hands. Doesn't stain them. Trust me, I know.
Okay,
All
dude,
right.
so you're moving.
We're moving, and we are okay. So now we're in this phase of needing to decorate the apartment, even though we don't even know if we have it, because this new place is a massive. It's so much bigger.
Yeah.
Our current apartment's 1,088 square feet. This new one is going to be like 1,800,
It's fucking nuts.
which
dude.
is sick. We're pumped.
That's a big come up.
It is, but we don't have enough shit to like make it work.
It's just gonna look like an Airbnb.
Yeah,
There's just nothing
It's
in
gonna
it.
look like a miniature person decorated the apartment, and I don't know. I mean, we'll see. We have some things, and we've been very sort of inventive about how. Right now, here's an example. I have this incredible dining room table that I bought at an antique store in Brooklyn about 7 years ago, whose legs, these sawhorses, are actually the base for that table.
Interesting.
And we use these sawhorses as the stands for our microphones for the podcast.
Multi-purpose.
But the table was too big for this apartment. So what we did is we just used the table as the headboard for our bed.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're
This is
kind
some
of
HGTV shit.
there's all
dude.
kinds of
That's crazy.
all kinds of ways to
Look,
sort
a
of make it work.
headboard.
But now that table will once again become a table because we finally have a big enough apartment to accommodate it.
Got it.
So we've got the table all set. We have, some other things, but in this new apartment, there's going to be what's called a breakfast bar, which is like the kitchen counter.
Oh yeah. A nice.
So we
little-
need some stools for that.
How lovely.
Now, I am from the school of thought of we can find stools out on the street that people are throwing away.
Mm-hmm.
Stools don't get bed bugs,
Correct.
as far as I know. Like steel repurposed.
Right.
We don't have to worry about that.
There's nothing. The bed bugs can't possibly go inside.
Not going to permeate a stool, as far as I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I've been looking on the lookout for big piles of trash to decorate our apartment. You'd be amazed at how many light fixtures and lamps get thrown out.
It's true.
Chairs, all kinds of stuff. People are always
And
throwing
in New
stuff
York,
out.
it's
In
good
New York,
shit.
every 10 feet.
Yeah. People are just have all the money, not enough time to do anything.
Yeah.
Just throw it on the fucking sidewalk.
They're not going to, they've lived in a place for 4 or 5 years. They're not going to list it on Facebook Marketplace. They don't care anymore.
Right.
So they're just discarding things. One man's trash is another man's treasure. I've been hunting for treasure. My girlfriend, not thrilled about this. So it's a real kind of push and pull of, okay, well, if I give you this, we're going to have to get this. And, if we spend a lot of money on this thing, we're going to have to save money on this thing. She wants a bed frame.
Okay.
She wants a bed frame. Because right now, I bought a bed frame years ago on Amazon. It was the most basic iron bullshit structure. It was like $150.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually got the wrong size. Because we have a king mattress.
Got it.
Which, by the way, I also got for free
Awesome.
from doing like an Instagram post, which was
Really?
sick.
Sick, dude.
And more on that later, by the way.
Cool.
But I accidentally bought a California King frame. So the California King frame is longer in the foot, but not as wide as the King mattress. So what ends up happening is, as we make the bed, we bang our shins because the covers come over the foot of the frame. You don't see that it's protruding beyond the mattress. You smack your shins. Major pain.
Major pain.
Not fun. So we need a new bed frame, whatever it's called, and she's got her eye on this cushioned number,
Oh boy.
one of these upholstered.
I know exactly what you're talking about. They're all
sort of,
tall and fucking
yeah.
padded.
Yeah, you could have an eyes wide shut party on
Damn,
this thing.
yeah, dude. It's already sounding like you guys are preparing to have the nicest apartment in America.
Yeah, I think that's what she's got her mind on, even though it's only a 2-year lease and God knows where we'll be after that. So I'm saying let's not set down our deepest, most expensive roots here. This is potentially a tertiary move. Who knows how long we'll be here?
Right.
Tertiary is not the right word. There's a different word. Temporary is the word that I'm looking for, but there's an adjective, a synonym for that. Fuck me in the asshole. So here we go. She wants the bed. The bed's expensive. I'm like, come on now. If we're gonna do that, then we're gonna need street trash stools for the breakfast bar. That's my way of dealing.
Mm-hmm.
And she's willing to come and meet me in the middle on some things like that. But here are the other big expenses, right? So it's like moving is super expensive. Now,
Crazy. Yeah.
I've moved 7-8 times in my 10 years of living in New York City.
Crazy.
It's fucking crazy.
It sucks.
I don't know why I've moved so many times. And every time I've added more shit to my life. The first time I moved in a cab.
That's crazy.
I moved in a taxi.
That's
the first
crazy.
move I did in New York. It was one of those big taxis, one of those sort of milk carton looking ones. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, they have the opening
In the back,
middle.
it's super boxy.
Yeah.
You could put a person in a
I
wheelchair
know exactly
in
what
there.
you're talking about. And they have leg room, it's like a London taxi.
Yeah, and they
Yeah.
can put the back row of chairs into the floor. And the guy who was like, I've actually moved 4 people this week.
That's crazy.
Everyone sees my cab. They're like, I'm going to move all my shit.
That's
I
hilarious.
paid him like an extra $50 tip,
Right.
Totally. And that was that. So from there, then it was like, okay, now I need a pickup truck, and rented a pickup truck. And then the next time I was like, we need a moving van. And then I hired movers. But the first movers I hired, I did half the move. I was like moving shit with them. I was part of the team. Right. And it was always in July.
What's the pay bump to get it so that you don't have to do shit?
This is exactly what I wanted to talk to you about.
Awesome.
So there are what are called full service movers.
Right.
Where you can almost sit on an armchair that they will carry into the new apartment while you sip a latte and say, over there,
Be careful with that.
Now, I would say it's hard for me fundamentally to get my mind around the idea of being an absolutely passive member of a move.
Right.
Because I just, that feels like servants.
It feels terrible, yeah.
And I'm not that guy. But that said, I think we're going to have to move on a Tuesday based on how the leases are working out.
Oh, man.
And we just don't, we're in the middle of our jobs. We're in the middle of, December is my girlfriend's busiest month at work. It's the end of their fiscal year, obviously. I have a ton of shit going on. I don't really have the time and I just don't want to. I have enough money now where I got a quote from a full service mover. They come in, they pack up everything. Your underwear drawer, your furniture,
it's crazy.
Your dog, anything you want, they bring it to your new place, they unpack it for you.
It's crazy.
This place was $3,200 for everything we own.
It's not that bad.
It sounds like a lot, but put it in perspective.
All of your shit.
A move where we pack all of our stuff up and they just put it in their truck and then they bring it to the new place and we unpack it basically is like $1,000.
Right.
So you're telling me that for an extra $2,200, I can nap while grown men do this for me? Game over. Absolutely.
Right.
Now, here's where it starts to get interesting. A lot of these moving companies, how many ads have you seen around New York City for moving companies?
Quite a few.
There's one every 5 feet. Every billboard, schleppers movers, big box movers, big Apple movers. They all got these goofy cartoonish names. These guys are desperately battling for marketing space.
Market share.
I consider myself a little bit of an influencer here and there.
Oh, here we go.
I don't know if you guys saw the Kraken rum ad I did.
Here we go.
Kraken Black Spice Coffee Rum. So I am reaching out to my army of influencer friends to see which moving companies are amenable to a little post for discount / free moving.
Oh, baby.
And I'm already getting some traction.
You're getting some bites?
Yeah.
Let's go.
No, it's no secret. Ashley Hesseltine, our good pal from Girls Gotta Eat, she did her move and did some posts, and I think she got the whole thing for free.
Crazy.
So we'll see how much we can get that $3,300 down. And there's another thing. It's like if we can get that down, well, that enables me to buy the room and board armchair that I've got my eye on, the recliner, which was way out of our price range, but it didn't feel like it. Want to know why?
Why?
Because on Saturday, my girlfriend and I'll just say that I did this. Let's just say that I did this for the sake of her continued employment. Took hallucinogenic mushroom chocolates and went and tested furniture at upscale furniture stores.
Why is Francis the best at combining recreational drugs with adult activities? That is the most hilarious Francis thing.
Let me tell you something, dude.
Looking for apartments baked, going to look at mattresses, tripping balls.
It's a double-edged sword because the thing is, none of the furniture is uncomfortable. There's never a chair where you're like, I don't know. Everything feels like a morphine bath. Like you are just sinking into a pool of fondue cheese. This couch, this chair is embracing me. It understands my problems. It's whispering to me. All of it. Doesn't matter how fucking modern. Doesn't matter what the lumbar support is like. You could sit on a stool and it would be would be fun. So
That's hilarious.
this is what I did. And you know, the problem is we started at Room and Board, which is really nice.
What does that mean?
Room and Board is the company.
Got it.
And we went to their big shop, and we're testing everything out, and it's all incredible. They've got these recliner chairs that are, they're like the type of chair that if we were suburban middle class dads,
Your
we would be
chair.
like, that's my chair.
That's my chair. Dude, dads having their chairs.
Yeah,
is
that's
an
dad's
insane
chair.
thing. It's
That's-
dad's chair.
You know, and
Stay out of dad's chair. You have the fucking wooden thing that pops back.
Yeah, we'd make it 5 minutes into the movie and we'd be dead asleep. You know?
Reminds me of one of my friends. He had this like little house, and his dad would always be in his chair watching The Simpsons, smoking cigarettes, laughing his ass off, just in his chair, be like,
Pointing at the TV.
Yeah. Oh my god, so funny, man.
So those recliners are amazing, and the one we liked, $3,000. I mean, it's nuts.
It's crazy.
So it's like, we're in there, we're testing them out. My girlfriend goes, "Should we do it?" And I was like, "Are you out of your fucking mind?"
She's like, "Yes, technically I am."
We need to this is one of those things where we need to see where is that money going to come from? Like, is that going to come from the movers giving us a big discount for a post, or can we reach out to Room and Board and have me do a post for them to get them to come down a little bit? And that's when I start DMing.
Right.
I saw that the Room and Board account followed a huge influencer comedian that I know. So I messaged my friend, that girl, and I was like, "Do you know these people? This is a total Hail Mary, but like, any chance you can get me?" And she was like, "Send me the chair you want." So I'm waiting to hear from her.
Fire.
Look,
Fire,
I
man.
know that being an influencer, all that shit is bullshit. Nobody wants to hear about it. But when you actually get discounts and you're saving real money, like,
Dude.
of course I'm going to lean into that. I didn't
Fuck.
ask for these followers.
Dude, being part of the barter economy, there's nothing better than that.
Totally. And also, I think the big difference is I don't think I'm entitled to it, right? If these people are like, "Get the fuck out of here. I'm not giving you
Whatever.
a free
It's a Hail
chair
Mary, dude.
for a picture on your Instagram," I'd be like, totally fair. I get you.
Totally.
I get you. But I'm going to test the waters. I'm going to kick some tires before I pay full price.
So let me ask you a question. So by taking mushrooms, just from knowing like mushroom chocolates, it's pretty mild. I don't know how many you guys took or whatever, how many you took. But sometimes I notice that when I do that, I actually think much more clearly than I would have before. And that can be helpful, but it can also hurt because sometimes I realize I'm like, you don't need any of this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like that you run the risk of that.
Yes.
Did the wheels start turning because of the mushrooms in a way that they wouldn't have without them? Or did you feel pretty in control?
It's a great question. That's a great question. I think that everything felt more comfortable, but it also definitely provided the perspective of knowing what we're looking at is very expensive.
Yeah.
And this is not, we can't make impulse purchases right now.
Right.
We're not buying anything today. We need to really do our research and make decisions based on, as I said, how a lot of factors shake out, like the cost of the move, the cost of other things. We need to prioritize what we actually need,
right,
and decide together what we should spend our money on, like what matters the most to us.
Dude, totally. And I honestly think that this is one of, and I think now they have the, like, I'm probably not saying this right, I've only read this word, psilocybin, is that correct? It's like the element, it's something from mushrooms. I've been taking these like brain supplements, which I highly recommend, by the way. They're great.
Psilocybin?
Psilocybin. Yeah, sorry.
To sit in solemn silence.
Sit in solemn silence, psilocybin. Yeah. All right, so I said that completely fucking wrong. But it's been the best thing that I've taken since I've stopped Adderall. But before we get into that, I just want to say that, like, that's an interesting thing about mushrooms is that they give you this Vulcan, pragmatic, heartless ability to like be rational. Like there's been times when I've taken mushrooms and like I was dating somebody and she was sobbing about something and I kind of like very calmly just looked at her and then looked forward, and in my head I was like, she has no reason to be sad.
Yes, there's another word for that, Giulio. It's called being a sociopath.
I know, but dude, that's what mushrooms do to me. They make
Fair
me
enough. They remove empathy
That's a crazy
from the equation.
confession. Yeah, they do, truly.
Cold-hearted
And
mathematical
it can be really
Giulio.
helpful in some ways. And when it comes to your life specifically, like looking at your life in a way where it's like, what's best for me and not attaching any emotion to it can be helpful in some ways.
Totally.
You know?
Totally. Yeah. No, I totally agree with that. And I will say that I'm not an avid mushroom taker. I
Nor am
took
I.
them for the first time less than a year ago.
Oh,
First time
cool.
in my life. So I'm pretty new to this, but I will say that the vessel of the chocolate bar, having them baked in that way, makes them much more friendly to me.
Yeah, yeah.
Less daunting. It's like taking, edible marijuana chocolate or whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
And dude, it's a while. Like, I don't think that overusing them is a good idea. And
No.
like I told this story. I'll briefly remind everybody. I was hanging out this winter in the peak of the pandemic with my two friends who were tripping. And at the same exact time, they both essentially passed out. She went, I don't feel so good. He goes, neither do I. And he is a big dude. He just boom right on the floor and started seizing, dude.
Jesus Christ.
So it scared the fuck out of me. So I'll never do more than microdosing, I think.
Yeah.
Not to bring down the mood.
No, that's there is something I think about the serotonin. It's definitely a different thing than weed.
Yeah. Use it judiciously.
Yeah. I've done them 3 times now, but what I will say is that I have applied them to very different experiences.
Interesting.
The first time I took them, I was with friends and we played like board games, like role player games, which was
Cool.
really fun. The next time we were out in the woods, which is what everyone talks about, and we came upon a cow pasture, and I ducked under the electric fence and went out with the cows, and that was really cool.
Wow. That's
and
fucking
just sort
cool,
of like
dude.
sat near them, and there's
That's cool.
I have a cool picture of it.
Dude, thank God. That's such a cool, like, imagine if you were like, I went and fucking started knocking them over. I'm glad that you're like, Francis is very respectful of nature.
Yeah, you gotta be.
You gotta be.
Yeah, I like cows. So, and then this time, we went furniture shopping at luxury furniture stores
So
in Manhattan.
funny, dude.
So we started. This is what I would say.
You guys
though.
are a fun couple.
We try to
That's
be.
fun as fuck. Dude.
We didn't go anywhere for Thanksgiving, and so we had a 4-day staycation.
Right.
Where and it was Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday. Four nights of just being here, where the city was very empty.
Right.
And I will say, you end up drinking a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
You really do.
Yeah.
Because you just think you're out doing things. You're like, you know what? Let's have a drink.
Let's liquor up a bit.
Let's have a drink. All these outdoor places. Let's go get a $14, $15 Manhattan. Let's get you a martini. And you feel cosmopolitan, and everyone who's here is doing it. And it's awesome.
It's a drink in town, man.
You don't mind spending $80
Totally.
on 2 drinks each, whatever it is. You're having the time of your life. We had an absolute blast.
Take food and alcohol out of the equation, and you realize very quickly there's not much to do here.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's only a few things you can do.
Yeah. But the weather was also nice. I mean, we went out, we drove out to Bayonne, New Jersey. We played tennis, and then we walked the golf course with the dog,
Awesome.
which was great. It was so empty on Thanksgiving Day that we sat down on the 17th green and just had like a picnic and some beers.
No way. It's sick.
With the dog. And it was gorgeous. It was like 65 degrees. So we had such a nice time.
It's great, man.
And this furniture expedition, what I will say, if you're going to recreate this as a couple, I would advise you to start with your lowest end store and then work your way up. Because we went high end, then we went low end, and then we went highest end. So we went from room and board to West Elm. I won't say West Elm is low end, but West Elm, you get really good deals. We went on, I think it was Friday or Saturday, so it was like the Black Friday stuff. The place was mobbed.
I'm sure.
It was mobbed. And in the time of COVID, you're waiting for someone to vacate a chair so that you can sit down in it. It felt a little, conveyor belt, kind of like, just here, more people. do we really want this chair? Do we even want to sit in it after so many people have been sitting in it? Yada yada.
Right. Especially
And
now, yeah.
and the stuff after going to room and board, room and board is the type of furniture store where they'll make you a drink
Oh, nice.
while they're like shepherding you around with an iPad and
Right.
checking out swatches of leather, combinations for you to have and giving you different prices. And so to go to West Elm after that was a step down. And I'm walking through there. To your point, going through there, I was like, fuck this place. This place sucks. Look at these busted ass couches. That chaise is beat to shit. I was so cynical and so superior, and everyone's looking at me like I'm an asshole. And then we went to Restoration Hardware, which is the most expensive fancy place. Have you been to their store in the meatpacking district?
Dude, I know nothing about any of this.
All right.
So I'm learning. This is good.
You
So
got to
please
go
fill
with
me
your
in.
girlfriend there, because that place the store is something to behold.
It's sick.
It's kind of new. I think a year or two old. They used to be over in the Flatiron district on like 19th or 20th and 5th. And then they built this crazy 5-story palace.
Jesus. Where is it exactly in meatpacking?
Dead heart of it. Do you know
Okay.
where that Starbucks roastery, like the famous,
Is it near Soho House?
Right near it.
Okay.
Right
Okay.
near Soho House.
Yeah.
And it kind of has a Soho Housey type vibe. It has a
Yeah, like
restaurant
the floors.
on the top floor.
Right.
And they like won't let you eat there unless you have a reservation. And you're like, your restaurant that's part of
The furniture
the
store.
furniture store, really? They're like, and they're kind of dickish about it.
Who the fuck thought of that? Like, I feel like every big furniture place has a place to eat in it. Like, even IKEA
Yeah.
does. And like ABC Kitchen, isn't that
Mhm.
part of like a furniture store?
ABC Cucina and ABC, that they have 2 restaurants. Yeah,
And like there's a furniture store attached
it's
to it,
an
right?
odd way.
It's
yeah.
such a weird model. I guess like you get all fucking burned out looking at furniture and you got to sit down and hit the chow.
It's that, and it's also at least it used to be Restoration Hardware. They had a nice bar, and they would you go up there and you'd have a glass of champagne, and being a little boozed up loosens the purse strings a little.
I mean, dude, the amount of times I have purchased trips while drunk is outrageous. And the second I start drinking, I start planning crazy trips, and then I wake up and I'm like,
Yeah.
it's a bad idea.
So you purchase trips while drinking. I trip and purchase couches while tripping. Now, we didn't buy a couch. There's some joke there. I couldn't figure it out. But
Chill with cows and buy couches.
yeah, dude, this Restoration Hardware, everything is massive there. Their couches seat like 16 people. And the store is so big, every room, it's like IKEA in that they stage it to be your living room. And there's a whole floor for outdoor furniture. There are so many beds.
It's just huge.
Yeah, and by this point, I was a little tired of shopping for furniture. I also knew that everything at Restoration Hardware was out of our price range.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't give a fuck.
Right.
And what that led to was me acting like a child, where they have this in the center of the store, there's like an open space that goes all the way down to the first floor.
Mm-hmm.
So you're basically on like a balcony all the way around, and then the rooms surround it. And I was picking up round throw pillows and throwing chest passes to my girl. we were getting some bad looks from the ladies who worked there. I was like, "Look alive!"
That's
bang.
great.
Just hitting her right between the numbers, and
Just trying to get kicked out.
yeah, that's basically what it was. But then, dude, we went to on the next day or Sunday, we actually drove over to the Restoration Hardware outlet store, which is in Studio City in sort of Sunset Park, Brooklyn.
Oh, okay.
And there are some spectacular deals there, but everything there is kind of busted up. Like a lot of the stuff
It feels like an outlet store.
It sure does. I think a lot of the stuff they have there is like the stuff that they had on the floor in
Got it.
their thing, and then people come through enough times and bang their elbows into it, so you get stuff that has like cracks in it,
Right.
and then it's 80% off.
right. So, dude, another thing to consider about that is I used to work at Calvin Klein,
Right.
like in like the corporate building or whaver.
Mhm.
And I don't know if this is common knowledge or not, but like the stuff that goes to the outlet stores, it was never in a real store. It was always intended to go to the outlet store. And they call it off price.
Huh.
It's a whole different thing. It's to kind of like harness a whole different kind of consumer. So I wonder if it's the same thing with furniture or not.
That's a good question. Yeah.
It's not like the defected stuff necessarily. It's literally intended to go to the outlet store. You can't get it other places.
I wouldn't be
or to Marshalls, or you know what I mean?
I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case with the restoration hardware stuff. Having said that, because one of the things they do is they list the price. They're like, this is the price in the flagship store, and then below that, they're like an hour price.
Right,
to show you how much you're getting
and,
it off.
And the hour price is the only price that was ever intended to be.
It's definitely possible.
I wonder if it's different for furniture, but it's an interesting thing. That I was like, fuckers.
Yeah. But dude, then there's this whole market of people who the problem with the outlet store is that you have to go in there right after they've gotten a new wave of stuff in.
Right. Or they have the tired ass shit.
Yeah. And we went and all the stuff was tired.
Totally.
But if you go right when they've gotten a new wave, a new replenishment of stuff, you can find some good stuff. There are people whose jobs it is to go, they know when this stuff is coming in, and they go and they just buy it all up, and then they bring it to their own mismatched furniture store and sell it at a markup off
It's
of
kind of
that.
like retail antique shopping.
Exactly.
Interesting.
So there's all kind. The whole furniture world is crazy, man.
Yeah.
And
outlets are fucking weird too, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, we all remember, shout out the Shark, dude, the kid from my high school who just robbed the outlets blind.
Oh my God, that's right.
It's a crazy. It's like the Wild West of shopping, dude.
Yeah.
Fucking outlet stores.
All of this is to say that it was a little bit stressful, facing down all these things that we either need to purchase or are going to have to make. I'm aware that some big credit card bills are on the horizon for me.
Yes.
And that's a shitty feeling.
It's a terrible feeling. And dude, hearing this is like giving me anxiety a bit. But then every time I start to feel anxious, I remember that my girlfriend is completely fine with handling all of this. Granted, I will obviously contribute money-wise if this day ever comes for us. But I just don't know about any of this stuff.
Well,
and maybe I need to learn.
But here's the thing. The stress for me is not in handling it. I would actually rather be part of the process,
right,
so that I can walk us back from
right,
crazy purchases,
right,
and then just get hit with a Venmo request that's like exorbitant.
Hilarious.
And you're like, where the hell did that come from?
Just giving her carte blanche.
Yeah, I'm not in that
blank
place.
checkbook. Yeah, no, I feel you.
Fortunately, she and I line up in what we think we should spring for. The stuff that matters to both of us. We're in sync on a lot of that.
Got it. Makes sense.
So,
yeah. What was your actual Thanksgiving like? Like, did you have a Thanksgiving themed meal? What was the deal with that?
Dude, it's a great question. We woke up Thursday morning. We went to Whole Foods to buy some kind of small turkey. And obviously they didn't have any turkey.
Oh, really?
Well, everyone
out?
had pre-ordered it. There was a line for people who had special ordered their shit. We were late to there was nothing just out on the shelves. So we ended up buying a chicken.
Oh, that's good.
Another flightless bird.
Poultry.
And a cousin perhaps to the turkey. And we went to Bayonne and played some golf and walked around. And then we had some drinks, and then we came back here and we went to a place called Dante.
Oh yeah, that's a good fancy place, right?
West Village just had cocktails.
Fun.
And got pretty lit.
Good.
And then we came home and drunkenly cooked our way through.
Oh, that's fun, dude.
Some stuff.
You guys crushed it.
And
you guys crushed this.
It was
Staycation.
fun. It was fun. Yeah.
Goals with a Z.
Yeah, but we didn't cook. I mean, it was actually we did pretty well. We cooked some Brussels sprouts and some sweet potato stuff, and for the most part, it was a Thanksgiving meal with the chicken. But you realize how important the family element is to the Thanksgiving.
No, totally.
And we had a very quiet Thanksgiving and just ended up watching a movie or something. And
Right. Well, it's good that you guys still have made fun out of it.
It was
you know?
fun.
It's
Yeah,
good.
it was fun. How was yours?
We did so I was in Long Island with friends. It's the first time I've ever not gone to be with my family, and it was like cool to change it up a little bit. But it started making me nostalgic about Thanksgiving in general and stuff. And I was like remembering, like when we were kids, my dad hated the leg of like any bird, like chicken. He hated the leg. Turkey, he hated the leg. So he kind of brainwashed us to like the leg. He goes, "Who wants to be a troll?" And we'd be like, "Yeah, we want to be a troll, yeah." And then we'd like take the fucking leg, and we just didn't realize that he hated the leg. Like that was all a ploy to get us to not eat the breast. But I went for a really, really long lunch in Sag Harbor, Long Island, at this restaurant called Lulu's, which is kind of like a French brasserie style kind of place. And they had like a Thanksgiving themed prefix thing. So we ordered like normal shit and Thanksgiving shit. And it was fun. It was like a nice little hot take on Thanksgiving. The lunch ended up being really long, and like sitting at a lunch table for 4 hours is like tiring.
Sure is.
It was tiring. There was a lot of listening to people's good stories and stuff, but like sort of like an old fashioned guy lunch kind of thing that takes a really long time.
It's European of you.
Yeah. So it was lovely, but it was also a little exhausting. But all in all, the weekend was pretty chill, dude. Like you said, it was different. I didn't drink as much as you did, but I would have liked to have been. Mm-hmm. It would have been nice to have that occasion.
Well, did you drink at that lunch?
A little bit. I had a little bit of wine.
I was going to say, the only way to get through a lunch like that is to just keep going cocktail after cocktail.
And that's the thing. I guess wine like puts me to sleep.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like a cocktail environment. Like you said, it was like the people that I was with are kind of like European, and ordering cocktails is like not the move. Like you get judged.
Sure. It also is what
it's what I would have liked to have done.
Jacks up the price typically. Although wine's kind of there, right there with.
I was being treated.
Oh,
so that was nice.
Well, that makes that 4-hour lunch a little more palatable.
Yes, definitely.
A little more digestible.
And so it was with the people that I live with, who are kind of like, I joke that they're my fake parents, and like they're very successful people. So sometimes I go, I love enjoying the wealth of my fake father.
They say, you say that. Do you say it to them?
Sort of. Like I say it to the kids who are like in their 20s. And it's funny. I actually borrowed the daughter's car. She's in London, and she has a car that she never uses, but it's like in Queens. It was a pain in the ass to get, but it's like a fancy car. And I just was like driving around, like acting like it was mine. I was
That's
like,
fun.
yeah, this is my car. It's
That's
sick.
fun.
Like, fucking, but whatever. It was a good time. But dude, yeah, it was pretty chill, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, dude. I think that's fine. We FaceTime with my family almost every day. My sister is due to have a baby any second now.
Oh, dude, it's very exciting.
It is. It's also weird though, because when she calls me, I see her phone, her name come up, and I think, oh crap. She's tried everyone else. Nobody's picking up. She's in labor, and I need to get on a plane right now to go to Boston to be there.
Crazy. Is she in Boston, or is that just the
she's in Boston?
She's going to? Got it.
And it's a ridiculous worry because she lives across the street from the hospital that will deliver her baby, and her husband is a doctor, and there's all kinds of. I mean,
you're good. Yeah.
Yeah. But
still stressful.
Yeah. And exciting. So any day now, I am excited to become an uncle for the first time.
Dude, hell yeah.
Now, I will say this. I was talking to our friend Shane Gillis, and Shane doesn't like the fact that I'm much better than him at Peloton.
He has a Peloton?
His sister does. So when he's home, he uses it, and his scores are pathetic. Part of the reason is
Shots fired.
He smokes a lot of cigarettes and treats his body like it's a garbage disposal. The proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding. And I said to him, well, I was a college lacrosse player. And he was like, yeah, I played college sports too. Our college football team would work you guys. And I was like, yeah, you would have beaten us at football, but we would have beaten you guys at Pelotoning. Are you kidding me? Absolutely. So
the Peloton team.
He doesn't like that, because we end up doing a lot of the same workouts, and he doesn't like, so he ends up seeing my name on the score, and he's legitimately getting half my numbers. So it pisses him off. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, well, drink less, Shane. So No, but I was talking to him, and he said to me, because he's an uncle, and he goes, "It's great. It'll be the first time in your life that you love someone more than yourself." And I don't know if that's going to be the case. No, my own kid, sure. But my niece? Am I really going to love my niece more than me? I don't know. I'd be surprised. Would I take a bullet for my niece? I would take a bullet in the arm.
You don't get to decide where the bullet's being taken. That's the problem with taking a bullet. It might hit you in the wrong spot and you're toast.
I just don't know. We'll have to see.
Not only would I not, I would use my niece as a shield against the bullet.
I'm not going to go that far, but look, let's put it this way. We'll know in a week. Once I meet my niece, I will come back and give you an updated report on whether or not I love her more than I love myself. And maybe I'll have a really surprising answer about that.
Dude, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Good luck, man. That's very exciting.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought of one more funny thing from Thanksgiving
please.
Lunch that I want to add. So there was this guy at the lunch who's a good guy, but he is like a biotech venture capital guy. So he loves to talk about like science. And a lot of the time, the things he will talk about are like death related. They're like a little morbid. And a couple of the people at the lunch, particularly my one boy, he is the most squeamish person in the world. He can't handle, if you say blood, he goes, dude. Like he starts feeling like he's going to pass out to the point where like we went to visit his grandfather in the hospital once and he's like, "So Papa, what's going on?" And he's like, "Well, the gallbladder." And I just see my friend like curling up into a ball. Like he can't handle any talk like that. So anyway, this guy just keeps talking about this kind of shit at lunch. And it was pretty funny to watch everybody react. But one thing he said that was like pretty fucked up. And I was like, Jesus, he goes, I was like, "What do you think about the vaccine and everything?" He's like, "Well," he's like, "it's going to take a while." He goes, "But there are going to be more diseases." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And he kind of looks at the table. He's like, "Because of global warming." And I thought this is like a really interesting fact, but he's like, because of global warming, he's like, animals are being moved out of their habitats, and thus closer to humans and are interacting in a way that is not normal. And because all these viruses are kind of like animal born, we're going to end up having more of this kind of shit. I was like, that is so gloomy.
I wonder. Yeah. I mean, that sounds
entirely
reasonable.
possible.
To me, I have no, that's the sort of stuff that we're just not hearing about that much. And
crazy shit.
Yeah.